Kremlin has described its recent missile strike on a Ukrainian military facility as a timely and effective response to what it perceives as growing Western provocations. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the use of the Oreshnik missile serves as a stark warning to the United States and NATO regarding their involvement in the conflict. Speaking in an interview with Russian journalist Pavel Zarubin, Peskov underscored that the strike was in direct response to the West's deepening military aid to Ukraine, particularly the US approval of long-range missile use against Russia.
Such warning bells meaning, don't even think about it. I mean the strike that was carried out by our new missile. It was very timely. It was in demand and effective.
Peskov criticized Washington's decision to authorize Ukrainian strikes deep within Russian territory, calling it a reckless disregard for President Vladimir Putin's prior warnings. He argued that these decisions were driven by internal political motivations within the US, including a desire for domestic political revenge.
I think that what happened here was a mixture of the frenzy of those who make decisions, a mixture of their nature, the war party, and also a thirst for domestic political revenge. All these factors, they merged in Washington, and this is where this decision came from. They decided to ignore Putin's warning. This is where this situation came about and required such decisive steps and tough statements from our president.
Russia's escalating rhetoric coincides with the publication of its updated nuclear doctrine, which Peskov framed as another clear signal to the United States. Approved by Putin on November 19th, the revised doctrine expands the list of scenarios under which nuclear weapons could be employed. This includes aggression by non-nuclear states if supported by nuclear-armed nations, which would be considered a joint attack on Russia.
President Vladimir Putin has given the order to prepare changes to adapt our doctrine to the conditions of the current confrontation, which are provoked by Western countries. Nevertheless, Putin has to respond to the unprecedented escalation, which is provoked primarily by the outgoing Washington administration.
The updated doctrine underscores that nuclear weapons remain a last resort for Russia if West does not back down. However, it broadens the scope of deterrence to include alliances and partnerships posing a threat to Moscow, reflecting a more assertive stance amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. The Kremlin's statements mark a sharp escalation in its messaging to the West as tensions over Ukraine continue to mount, leaving little room for de-escalation in the near term.